Imagine being broke and desperate to find a job to get a living to become the most successful billionaire in your country, and the continent sounds like a big turnaround. As impossible as it sounds, Jack Ma was the one who made the impossible possible, and his vision took him so far that his company has become more significant than the ones that he applied for a job for. And with all this hard work and grind, he deserves to spend some quality money on himself. Welcome back to the channel, where today we're going to look at 10 ways that Jack Ma spends his billions. When it comes to money, Jack Ma makes sure that everything he spends will give him something back in the end, even if it's a dollar or a penny. It turns out that Ma is a big fan of movies and owns a stake in a movie studio, which has invested in major films like Mission Impossible and even Star Trek and beyond, and many other recent classics. This is a fantastic move just because of how big of a movie market China is, and producing them will give enormous cultural and corporate benefits for China and Jack Ma's company. And more recently, he bought a newspaper and a channel company called the South China Morning Post, which has had massive power in the newspaper industry in China. This investment he made through Alibaba is also paying him off, as he managed to improve the newspaper company and the quality and freshness of the news being put out. When it comes to the atmosphere around Ma, he also doesn't mess around as well. Jack Ma made headlines worldwide when he spent a whopping $191 million on a home in the most expensive neighborhood in Hong Kong. He's also bought a vineyard in the south of France, an expensive property in New York's Anna Contracts, which cost him a reported $23 million. It's safe to say that he's a big spender on some fine architecture. And since you might get a question in your mind, if all these properties are so distant, how does Jack Ma travel to all of them? Well, he has a private jet all for himself, which is again paid for by his company, in which he has a stake. Jack Ma likes to travel in style with his Amazon Gulfstream 550. The Gulfstream is one of the best jets ever made by Gulfstream, which also explains the huge price tag that it has. The Gulfstream 550 is a whopping $55 million, set up with some of the finest leather in the world, with a cabin that barely produces any noise. This jet has also been a ride for some of the other wealthiest people in the world, and it's no surprise that Jack owns one of them. And Jack Ma also seems to have a passion for painting, as he's a painter and a drawer himself. Jack Ma has been no stranger to buying and appreciating fine art, as he's been busy expanding his art collection in his home. He's seen buying some of the rarest artifacts and art pieces himself, sometimes by himself and sometimes in exclusive auctions where the super rich are only invited. And after retiring from his post in Alibaba, Jack Ma has been investing in markets with his own money at stake. This investing style is similar to what Warren Buffett follows, and many critics have hailed him for this strategy. He holds significant stakes in the healthcare industry, insurance companies, and like we've mentioned, in the movie industry as well. Not to mention, he's also making some huge investments in the technology sector. Lastly, finance and internet products and services are also in his portfolio. It looks like Jack is coming to buy out the whole world. And just like how he likes to spend his time in the air in pure and precise luxury when he's on a holiday or family trip, he always loves a trip which is good enough to explore the sea. Jack also owns a jet that he likes to showboat and take out with him to some of the deepest cruises and explorations in the ocean. The jet he owns is called Zen, one of the most beautiful and lavish yachts ever produced. It can also be called the Rolls-Royce of water. The yacht can accommodate a maximum of 16 guests and a total of 25, including the ship's crew. It's estimated that the ship may cost more than $100,000 in maintenance for a week, and only a mega billionaire like Jack Ma can own something like this. He was also spotted on this yacht when he was having turmoil with the government, and used this as a distraction to cool down. Ma's philanthropy is something that he takes a massive interest in, as he's been one of the biggest donators for the education and employment of poor people in Africa. And he also runs a talent show which always manages to lift spirits. And when it comes to the road, Jack doesn't compromise either. He owns a BMW, a Maybach, and many other exclusive Chinese cars. And not all of his cars are expensive, as he loves to be humble and gracious to his colleagues and his workers. Speaking of workers, Ma has managed to give one of the best retirement parties in the history with his concert. And it's not the only concert. He's become quite a legend with his crazy concerts and get-ups, and every way he spends his money, he spends it right. Well guys, that's going to do it for today's video, so thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon for more content just like this. We'll see you guys in the next one.